Right, if I was to use one word for India's performance in this game, clinical would be that word. They did all the things right. Plenty of positives for the Indian team, and we'll discuss that. Harbhajan Singh, Pragyan Oja with us, and since these are two spinners, I'm going to start with the two spinners that were on display. Vajuba, I'll start with you. I know plenty of positives for the Indian team, and I'll talk about the batting a little later. Let's focus on the two spinners. Now, these two spinners didn't have a game, really, a standout game in that game versus Pakistan. Even leading up to that, Ashwin wasn't amongst the wicket. So this must be that match that they were looking for to boost their confidence.
Yeah, most definitely. I think this was kind of a great opportunity for them to showcase, of course, their skills and also to get their confidence back by taking wickets. Yeah, so this was a perfect kind of a match for them. Great outing for both the spinners by taking 2 wicket each. So it's definitely boosts their confidence going forward. And it's important to have your spinners coming into the party and taking those important wickets in the middle overs, sorry. Because if you
Yeah.
don't take wickets in the middle overs, what happens then? Your batters who are batting in the middle orders, they go on to bat in the slog overs. Then they have a better chance to score a lot of runs. So it's important to take wickets in the middle overs. So that's exactly what Ashwin and Akshar Patel did, right? And I hope they'll continue with the same way going forward as well. Look to take wickets rather than containing the batsmen.
Pragyan, how should we read India's performance in this game? Should we look at all the positives as if, it's a World Cup game, so everything that they do should be taken very seriously? Or should we look at it by, with a pinch of salt saying that, listen, this was not the best opposition that they were facing in Netherlands, an associate nation. Also, they were playing in Sydney, sort of conditions that really helped the Indian spinners. How must one view this performance by India?
I think if you look at from this World Cup's point of view, it's a very important game because it is not just India's won convincingly, and what does that do? It adds value to the net run rate. And why are we talking about net run rate? Because in Australia it has been raining and we saw a few important games getting disturbed because of rain. And when you have those chances, and especially when you're playing against less experienced side, you need to capitalize on that. And I'm very glad that Rohit Sharma, along with his team and the think tank, they decided to bat first. They made a good total. They put the pressure back on Netherlands and ended up winning with a big margin. And look at what has happened to the net run rate. They are almost +1. That is brilliant. That is what will count later on. Now, normally in the initial period we don't discuss about it, but if anything happens later on in the tournament, that is what we have seen always comes in handy. And when you are a champion side, you have been doing well and you are one of the favorites, what you need to do? You have to win games, and also you have to see what are the other things you need to cover. So in other things that you need to cover, this is one where they will be looking to capitalize, and they did. And the same thing they will try and do against Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I think Pragyan makes a very interesting point. Some things are in your control as far as performances are concerned, but some things are out of your control, like the weather gods. But they've been kind to the Indian team. Remember, Melbourne, there was a lot of talk about the rain coming down. The weather held up there. You got a full game here in Sydney as well. And before that, we saw a few games being washed out, and some teams had to share points. But India got a full game here and a clinical performance at that. Harbhajan, to you, I know it's still early days in the tournament. 2 games that India has played so far, 2 out of 2 is what they've managed to win. But in the larger scheme of things, and I understand that the South Africa game is also important, but is it looking like, watching the Indian team, that most likely they should top their group?
Well, I certainly believe so. They should be at the top of the table end of this league round because they looked actually better team than the other teams, who have played in this competition, barring South Africa. They are also a very strong team. Their batting looked really good today when they played the first game there. and they won convincingly against Bangladesh. So important game will be against South Africa in Perth, where the South African will fancy their chances because they feel their bowling is obviously fast and it will suit that kind of ground. So important game will be against South Africa. If we manage to win a game, do well against South Africa, I think India will be at the top of the table then. So yeah, but we have to obviously as a Indian fans and Indian, someone who played the game, we would like to see one game, like one step at a time, because next game is against South Africa, and then think about the next one. Don't just now start thinking about the semi-final and the finals. I know a lot of people are now, after beating Pakistan, feeling that okay, this was our World Cup, whether you win or not. That's not the case. I think winning the World Cup is the most important thing, not beating Pakistan or not beating South Africa. So, but one step at a time, kind of a mentality should be implemented in terms of not just the team, but to all of us. We need to, back our team, but obviously it's one step at a time, kind of a mentality we need to all have.
Okay, as Harbhajan Singh points out there, one step at a time, not just for the Indian team, but even for us Indian fans. You got to be aware of the fact that anything can happen in a World Cup game, and also that too in a T20 format. So you got to hold your horses. The next important game is versus South Africa. But talking about Indian fans and how they should look at India's performance going forward, let's talk about how they viewed India's performance here in the game versus Sydney. I was there at the SCG, caught up with a few Indian fans, and it felt like I wasn't in Australia at all. It felt like I was in any Indian city, because it was a sea of blue that I got to witness, and this is what all the fans of the Indian team had to say after that Netherlands victory. Diwali celebrations are
ये इंडिया की सेलिब्रेशन है. दिवाली हमने कर लिया सेलिब्रेट ऑलरेडी एक बार.
This is the Diwali gift from Indian cricket team.
So he says Diwali gift from the Indian cricket team.
सर हम तो मेलबर्न भी गए थे अभी. मेलबर्न भी गए थे.
सिडनी से मेलबर्न, हम सब जगह जाएंगे.
अब पर्थ भी जाएंगे आप?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल.
What is it that you enjoyed the most in the game?
विराट कोहली.
It's
Virat Kohli.
all round
What
performance
else?
for the boys. Batting, bowling, fielding, all on top.
I tell you one thing. 5 रुपए की पेप्सी, हार्दिक पांड्या सेक्सी.
Surya firepower was great, and overall bowling of Bhuvneshwar Kumar is great in beginning.
Okay, my good friend Sukumar is here. Sukumar, give us a shout for the Indian team. Come on.
So already before match only I told that already we won the match, but anyway for formalities we have to play. So as I said on India-Pakistan match, Virat Kohli gave every Indians across the world, he has given a Diwali bonus. Now we are going to win the trophy, so he is going to give a bonus to entire world, that for sure.
Now we are waiting for semi-finals here in SCG only.
India could play the...
Everywhere we will go.
They could go to Adelaide, they could come to SCG, they could be anywhere.
Sir, as a fan, like especially 2019 World Cup also, like more than a match, it's like a carnival, sir. We are enjoying. Entire India is enjoying the match.
So give me a shout out as you gave in the stadium. Come on.
Bharat Mata ki Jai! Bharat Mata ki Jai! Arre jeetega bhai, jeetega! India jeetega! Arre jeet gaya bhaiya, jeet gaya! India jeet gaya! Bharat Mata ki Jai! Jai Hind, always our support.
वर्ल्ड कप इंडिया का ही है.